Hey guys, Kelade here. Welcome to my Mythic Vigilant Guardian kill/commentary video. This is going to be the first of 11 bosses in the raid. And we're doing this on Mythic, of course. This boss, I think by the time we actually do this, it's already been nerfed twice. So I think one of the hardest, maybe, first bosses of raids in a while. Because he did have to get nerfed twice for people to start actually wanting to kill him. One part is that everybody's doing like, all the normals and heroics of tier gear, but here we are. On Mythic, the big difference is that the boss, as you guys can see, the big dude, is out the entire time. So that's the big difference between, or one of the bigger difference between Mythic and other difficulties, is that it doesn't feel as boring, right? Because on normal and heroic, you kill the ads, you kind of just sit there doing nothing. At least on Mythic, there's always a boss up, so there's always a target to hit. It does make the fight feel a little bit more complete. So right here, we get targeted. So when the boss has 100 energy, he does this target thing, right? You'll see these little things follow me. Just bring that out of the raid, right? Make sure that doesn't go to the raid. Then nobody else has to deal with the mechanic but you. That's all there is for that. And then most of your priority on this fight is just going to be killing the ads, especially the guardians, the sentries, even the ads that are casting abilities. You don't have to worry too much about boss damage right now. Because while you're cleaving down the ads, you'll eventually just kill the boss. And as you guys can see here, I am using Kyrian. I also pull aggro here. Trying to not die in regen. Also call for a bop right there. We get the bop. Luckily we don't die. But I think the guy that gave me the bop might have died. Feels bad. But it's okay. We at least survive. Threat, still a mechanic in this game, still very fun to deal with. These guys just kick those blasts whenever you can. And then, of course, when the core temperature you can see at the top of the screen, when that reaches 100, right, you want to hide in these little thingies. It's the same as every difficulty. Just make sure you stay in it. You get that, I guess it's a buff, but in your bars, it's going to seem like a debuff. So that way you're not taking damage for that AoE ability or where it doesn't one-shot you. Because if you step out, you just get one-shotted. So slowly cleave on the ads, right? After that's done, this defense matrix guy will then activate. Then you just burn this guy as fast as you can. I guess somehow if your raid doesn't have enough damage, like that could be a problem, but I don't think we were ever close to that ad not dying in time, so no problem there. As I was saying, so Kyrian, I think it's okay. I mean, you're gonna be, if you're playing Fury in this raid, you're probably using Kyrian for majority of the fights. But there are fights like this one and Anduin where it looks like Knife actually has a lot more value. One big thing, or there's two reasons for this fight for Night Fae actually, is that first strike, right? It's still gonna be OP. There's so many new ads. You're gonna be hitting so many new targets, right? There's all the other soul blinds that Night Fae has in that same whoever that person is that get first strike, where it's really good for new spawning ads continuously on a fight. So I think when I do this fight again, I would definitely play as Night Fae. Didn't have opportunity to change here because we were kind of just like ran right into the raid and did this boss. But if I think I had a choice, I would definitely probably play Night Fae on this fight as Fury. The other thing is, and then of course your legendary is just gonna be sticking to Tormented Kingdoms, right? You just want that AoE blast. Accidentally talked to my Kyrian friend here and had to close that so I can see shit in the fight. The other thing that also kind of, as we can see, another phase where we kind of hide in this thing again, but the other thing, he's gonna spawn like those little traps all around the ground. Just make sure you don't get hit by those. It doesn't one-shot you completely from 100 to 0, except for after he does this phase where he does a little bit more damage. Then it can one-shot you, but just try to dodge those as you can. There's not really a point in trying to get hit by those. But then this fight, that's really it. You just kind of do this over and over, and every time the ads are up, right? So right here, you kind of want to bait those things out. That's why we all step out instead of like just waiting on the ad. Right after that phase happens, he spawns those little swirlies on the ground a little bit, so you kind of just want to bait those away from the ad. So then once they're kind of targeting the ground, all the melee can charge back up to that wall. So right here, right, these are kind of the crisscross things you want to make sure that you avoid. And also just, I guess, a quick tip for essentially any boss fight in this raid or other raids, but generally, I think if there are priority ads, like for example, like this boss where he summons like 3 to 4 different types of ads, if there are any ads that are priority, generally Blizzard will be good enough to add them to the right side, right? So if there, let's say there's like 6 ads out and you have to target a specific ad, if you look on the right side, the more important ads are probably going to be there on the boss ready frame. And then I don't think I actually get hit by it, but you can kind of see those 6 balls up there on the upper left. If you ever get targeted by the ability where you have to leave, just make sure you get away from the raid, right? Because it's going to spawn those 6 balls and they collapse on you. The reason why you have to get away is that they instantly spawn around you. So if you're standing too close to the raid and you spawn one of your 6 balls right on top of the raid, it's just going to one-shot everybody that's going to be in there, right? And then also those little bombs that you guys can see there, the ones that have spawned, that guy just popped it. When you pop that, you just kind of take like a debuff that makes you take more damage from them. So your raid will generally just clear those at whatever leisure that I think your healers feel comfortable with. I don't think that's something that we overly have to deal with, but just be aware. I guess don't hit it if your job isn't to pop those, right? Generally, I think healers will just pop those because they know what healing they can do, and also they're probably paying attention to the other mechanics, right? Also, make sure, just keep dodging swirlies. There is a point on this fight. I think we basically reach it here. We also pop a rally there so we don't have more people dying. The boss just starts doing basically nothing. And he also starts not even summoning ads. And I think at 15% is when we really try to lesson burn him. I'm fairly confident with less than 15%, just to burn this guy as fast as we can. But the fight is basically just a tank and spank at this point on, actually. We're slowly getting there. I did use my cooldowns earlier because I didn't... Oh, so I do get this mechanic. Okay, so this is the mana resolution where you want to get out of the raid, right? Don't want to spawn that close. It was a little bit monk-ass. I wanted to save my leap after the ball, so I don't have to take so long to get back to the boss, but I wasn't moving fast enough out. This is also the reason why I think Night Fae is pretty good on this fight, because for Night Fae, so we lost right here. For Night Fae, right, you can leap out, and then you can Night Fae blink back in. It just gives you that added mobility, because you do want to go relatively far with that, right? So where you can't just charge right back to the boss. So that's another reason why I think Night Fae is also great, just for the blink. It actually helps you a lot on those balls. As I said, right, 15% earlier, we lost. You just sit here and you DPS the boss. I'm going to assume the pre-nerf version, this did a lot of damage, but it didn't really seem that bad right now. And for us, it just kind of seems like a tank and spank. And that's really it. It does take a while because the boss, goes like sub 10%, and your cooldowns are kind of done. You're running a little bit out of juice, so that lasts like 5%. Even though not much is going on, can seem like it takes a long time. But we'll slowly get him down here, and we'll get the first boss kill. But yeah, that's it for the Mythic Vigilant Guardian. As always, thanks for checking out the video, guys. Feel free to subscribe to see more. See ya.